Welcome to a highly questionable football Monday. Izzy Gutierrez back in with us again. He's here more than I am, more than he is. Izzy, what do you like on the show today?
I saw like 4 quarterbacks better than that whole GOAT combination last night between the Pats and the Packers. I'm not so sure about those two.
Vale, papi.
Did yesterday convince you that the Saints are better than the Rams?
Every bit as good as the Rams, but I feel like we thought that going in. They've got the #1 rush defense in the league, and they slowed Gurley some. It didn't look like that was possible at all. But what you're looking at here from Drew Brees at his age, the only guy who defies aging the same way that Tom Brady does, is a precision and a mastery unlike anything we've seen. The places that he's throwing the football, 18 touchdowns, 1 interception. He seems completely unstoppable. I say this as a game against Minnesota was close on the road and really won by their defense, but still, Drew Brees against anybody has to terrify every defense in the league.
To be fair to the rest of us, the Saints were a little confusing through the first 3 weeks. You know, they lost to Fitzmagic in Tampa Bay. They had that close game with Cleveland. They look more like they have, or they're supposed to look now. And man, Alvin Kamara might be the scariest threat in the league. We fell in love really quickly with the Rams and what their offense is doing. We fell in love with Patrick Mahomes, and we sort of ignored what this team can do. When you've got Kamara, who again is an amazing athlete, who can catch the ball, runs routes better than some wide receivers, and of course you've got Drew Brees throwing a ball to the guy, might have the most boring name in the entire sport, but is amazing in Michael Thomas. You have that entire combination, and that team, yeah, is just as good. And you can say whatever you want about their defense, about who they've given up points to. This league is built for offense right now. All you have to do on defense is do just enough, and they did enough to stop Todd Gurley and the Rams.
Jeff Fisher must be very happy. The Rams could still go 8-8.
Yeah, it's keeping the legacy alive.
Wait a minute. We can't keep making that Jeff Fisher joke.
We can until we can't.
Was Michael Thomas' cell phone celebration cool or cliche?
Okay, Michael Thomas made himself a star today, even though, as Izzy just told you, he's been good for a good long time, but he's kind of faceless. If A.J. Green walked into your home right now, would you recognize him by face? Khalil Mack? Michael Thomas took his star turn yesterday because he did something quote-unquote controversial. He got a couple of flip phones at a nearby liquor store. He hid them before the game in both goalposts, just in case he scored neither one. And when he does this game-winning stuff to Marcus Peters, he lifts this up, and there it is, a flip phone. The flag is there before the numbers can be dialed. Joe Horn did it this way 15 years ago, and it can be both things, Izzy. It can be a selfish act, as Troy Aikman was saying, and also a great deal of fun that was worth it because that guy and the play that he made was bigger than any nonsense with a cell phone. He just took control of home field in their conference with that touchdown. He can enjoy himself worth 15 yards of penalty.
Honestly, the only person who that should be a big deal for is Joe Horn. It was an homage to Joe Horn and those Saints fans who loved it. There was no real outrage from anybody around the world ever. Okay, if you're going to tell me that you saw that and were really mad, you really weren't. You were just saying, oh, that flag could come back to hurt him. That's selfish. Okay, why is that more selfish than the Seahawks celebration, which everybody loved, which probably took hours of choreography? Why? Because there were other people involved? I understand there was a flag there. There was no way that flag was really going to affect the game. Not really, okay? Joe Horn, it was an homage to him, and that's fine for the Saints fans. That's all they really care about.
Hello? Oh, Michael, how are you? Michael Thomas.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I watched the game last night. Well, yeah, you could have used a banana phone. Okay, I'll set down for a cell phone. What? You want to talk to Izzy? Hold on for a second. For you, Izzy.
Ah! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
The we got it! Was last night really about Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady?
This should have been an escalation of that crack cocaine that was Rams-Saints football, but it was not. This didn't even feel like it was decided by the quarterbacks. It was, though, the Patriots, again, showing off just because they can, winning with, at running back, Cordero Patterson, what is it about that team that they could get numbers from anyone they put back there, even when they're playing guys out of position? That was a testament to the Patriots again being 7-2, again being at the top of the league, no matter how many guys they got out, and not even Aaron Rodgers, the best I've ever seen, could go in there and do anything about it.
Yeah, I felt really badly for you because that was just a tough one to watch. When you've got Tom Brady basically saying, I've got no Gronk, no problem. I'm going to throw it to this receiver I got from a Cleveland trash heap, and he's going to moss you, okay, for these big plays. I'm going to go with Cordero Patterson, like you said, at running back. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers, he has to put the ball on the fingertips of Jimmy Graham, who's no longer getting open these days, and it's a 50-50 chance whether he catches that ball. He doesn't have a running back because his running back, who used to be a wide receiver, got cut because of what was a selfish punt return and couldn't get the ball back in the only guy's hands who can actually do anything on this team. It was really frustrating to watch if you are an Aaron Rodgers fan or if you're just a fan of football in general, because it feels like wasted opportunities for this man while he's still in his prime.
Do you guys remember what I said last Friday?
Nope, wasn't here.
You were not here. I said that the Packers, they have a quarterback that could win that game.
Oh, that's right.
That's right, but they never gave him the chance.
Right.
He stayed on the bench all game long.
DeShone
Kaiser, that was the man I picked to win that game.
Yes.
And you know what? They wrote him on the bench all game long. And you know what happened? They lost against New England. You know? That was very predictable.
I mean, it is true.
That's right.
It is
That must
true.
have been a lousy show Friday.
DeShone Kaiser, 0-13 in NFL starts.
Do we need to start taking the Panthers seriously?
I love the way this show has set up. We started talking about the teams with one loss, and now we're talking about the teams with two losses. And should we take them seriously? They are a tier below the ones that you're thinking are good in the league. But I feel like there are a lot of teams that could beat anybody on a given day. I believe the Panthers could do it. I think the Chargers could do it. I think, the Eagles can do it. There are a lot of teams in the sport that can win on any given day, and this is absolutely one of them, because the young pieces they've gotten around Cam Newton on offense have made the Carolina offense something that it hasn't been. They scored 42 against the Bucs because everyone scores 42 against the Bucs, but they can put up that point total anywhere, and they can come back from 17-0 as well on the road at Philadelphia, which they've already done this season.
Yeah, it feels like we get bored with certain players, right? We were already bored with the Saints until they come back and lit everybody up for the last 4 or 5 games. We got bored with Cam Newton. We got bored with an MVP who didn't have as much quality around him. We don't really know these wide receivers' names, but we know they're getting open enough for Cam Newton to get them the ball. We know McCaffrey is a threat that everybody should be frightened of. And I understand that the Ravens are 4-5, but last week they put 36 points on the best defense in the league. So, of course, there's something to be reckoned with. There really is only that one game difference between them and the Saints and the Rams. And they kind of remind me of the Pittsburgh Steelers in that you have a reliable player at quarterback who's just going to fight his way, shed defenders off of him and get you into a close game whenever necessary. And so this team, yeah, of course they're a threat.
Ron Rivera, this celebration is for you, the Latino coach, the best Latino coach in the NFL.
What a tremendous celebration!
That's right.
Wow, leftovers from before.
Do we need to start taking the Chargers seriously?
Okay, as I mentioned, we're now to the 2 losses teams. This one wins at Seattle yesterday. Philip Rivers looking exceptional. What are the things that you know about Philip Rivers, Poppy?
He got a bunch of kids.
That is correct.
You always got to take him seriously. He's a man of action. I'm telling you something.
He is a man of action. He's got many different kids, that's true. And he is a quarterback who is also playing the kind of precise football, not making mistakes, not doing gunslinger things that can keep them in any game. This is the best Charger team he's had since LaDainian Tomlinson. Their only losses are against good teams. This is another team that can play with anybody.
I mean, it's also in large part because of Melvin Gordon. And again, it was just a few years ago where he was drafted at the top and we were all excited about him. Now we're looking at a guy who is a great option to have for Philip Rivers, who doesn't miss a game, is accurate, can turn Keenan Allen into a superstar receiver all of a sudden again, and that makes you think that, yeah, this team can do anything. They're really 3-0 in their one-score games this year, and that's really the big difference there, because Philip Rivers is always in a situation where he's 1 or 2 drives away from winning a game in the fourth quarter. This year, those games are going in his favor.
He has 8 kids.
Yes.
And you can come up with one?
Well, I mean, yes.
Yeah.
That's yes.
Boy,
yes.
I feel bad.
Okay, great. I mean, okay.
Coming up next on Highly Questionable,
If you took the three next best teams and took all their players and put them together and then made Nathan Peterman the quarterback, would Alabama still be a favorite against whatever that hodgepodge is? Because I do believe that the second best team in the country is Alabama's second team led by Jalen Hurts. I think that's where we are, better than even Clemson.
Is this Alabama team making you more or less interested in college football?
All right, Ed Orgeron won the pregame by storming into his stadium, banging on his chest and doing all sorts of things, and then Alabama wins 29-0, makes it look easy on a day their offense was made sluggish by a very good LSU defense. And this is the question we were asking today on the radio. If you took the three next best teams and took all their players and put them together and then made Nathan Peterman the quarterback, would Alabama still be a favorite against whatever that hodgepodge is? Because I do believe that the second best team in the country is Alabama's second team led by Jalen Hurts. I think that's where we are, better than even Clemson.
You know, I wanted to sit here and blame the other programs. Hey, why aren't you taking your players and giving something that can compete with Alabama to the rest of the country? But then, Dan, you go back and look at all the recruiting rankings since 2011. Alabama's won every year. Maybe they would drop down to number 2 one time when USC snuck in there and got number 1. They do have all the best players. Their second team, their third team. There is some hope, though. 2018, right now, they're like ranked somewhere between 5 and 7. So like in 3 or 4 years, Alabama might not be that good, and maybe you can take down that dynasty, but this might be the best team they've ever had.
Well, this is the thing about what he's saying. This is the best quarterback they've ever had. This is the only time that Alabama comes onto an opposing field, and every single time they've got the quarterback advantage. They've won the championship without having the quarterback advantage. Now they've got that too.
Tricky Nicky. Why play against him anymore? Might as well give him the title now, you know what I mean?
They should.
That's right.
They should.
Step up to the plate, give him the title, cancel all the games, lose all that revenue because you created this problem with Tricky Nicky, you know what I mean? People keep paying a lot of money to see competition and they see so might as well give the money back to the fan and take a hit right in your chin, you know what I mean? That's what I would do if I were you know, to save some face.
Why would anybody else want to coach in the SEC West?
Is Todd Bowles doing the right thing by letting Sam Darnold play through his struggles?
Okay, so Jets-Dolphins yesterday was exactly the opposite of Rams-Saints. It was awful. Brock Osweiler had one of the worst games you'll ever see a quarterback have in a winning performance, and the reason that happened is because Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions. Sam Darnold now leads the league with 14 interceptions. And of course, if you are the Jets, you ride this out because this is your future. You do not need to know what Josh McCown will do with the remainder of your season. The Patriots spent the pregame yesterday laughing at the rest of the AFC East the way they have for the last 15 years. This isn't about now. It's about the next 10 years.
Yeah, the way you build teams these years, you just can't afford to wait and see with your quarterbacks. You have to know as soon as possible. Down here in Miami, we're in year 7 of this Ryan Tannehill experiment, and there's still people telling you they need to see more. No, you've seen enough. So even if Sam Darnold isn't the guy, you want to find out soon enough. It very well could be that he could be Peyton Manning, having the worst interception year of his career, leading the league in interceptions, and then goes ahead and takes off for the rest of his career. But no, you've got to find out now because the Golden State Warriors, yeah, they're in your division right there, the New England Patriots. You're not going to catch them. You're not going to compete with them this year, probably not next year either.
Or ever.
Can we all agree on something?
Yes.
Can we stop talking about the Jets?
Oh, that's a good idea. Can we agree on that? Can we agree on that? Let's agree on that. Come on, let's agree on that.
Are you starting to wonder whether Le'Veon Bell was a system running back?
Okay, I have been doing this holdout coverage long enough that it wasn't but 4 weeks ago that I was talking about how the offensive linemen must be wondering in Pittsburgh after going public criticizing Le'Veon Bell if they themselves are any good. And they are good because you've seen that James Conner is doing things behind that line that are Le'Veon-like, even though their offense is diluted without him. But the Steelers are 5-2-1 today because they still have the best 2 skill position players in the entire division. Nobody can come at them with 2 better at quarterback and receiver than what they've got, and that's why they're leading the division.
Well, one of the things I'm starting to recognize, and I think everybody's starting to recognize, is that Connor is 6'2". He's 23 years old. He's essentially in his prime as a running back, and he's behind a good offensive line and a good team. So he's going to put up these types of numbers. It's quite possible they really do have 2 really good running backs in Le'Veon Bell and Connor, and if they both came together, they'd arguably have the best running attack in the league. But what I do recognize is that the Steelers can win this way. Le'Veon Bell is going to have to come back if he wants next year to be a free agent year. So if they can just put their emotions aside and just realize that they've got two studs at that position, they might be the most dominant team in this conference that we don't know about yet.
It is a weird thing to say, but consider that the holdout, given that they're 5-2-1, might be something that helps them, because now they've got two running backs in the second half of the season. One of them is really fresh.
Coming up next on my son's TV show.
Touchdown, and this is what happens. A lineman for Ottawa, his girlfriend is in the crowd. He goes sprinting that direction.
Appalachian State, they got a powerhouse. They still rank? Do you question if this was the quarterback's fault?
All right, my father gave you a little bonus opinion there. Let's see what we've got here. Coastal Carolina is...
Time to play the game that thinks Sharks are misunderstood. Do you question?
You give us topics and events and we question them.
Do you question if the CFL should be happy with this touchdown celebration?
As Troy Aikman clutched at pearls because Michael Thomas was daring to pay homage to Joe Horn, we go out to the Canadian Football League, where they're less repressed than we are, and where Ottawa can score a touchdown, and this is what happens. A lineman for Ottawa, his girlfriend is in the crowd. He goes sprinting that direction. Oh, thank you. Yes, yes.
He didn't even score the touchdown and he's celebrating like this. This is brilliant.
He didn't score the touchdown or drink the beer, actually. That beard would fail a breathalyzer.
And all that would be fine in the NFL as long as he doesn't use a cell phone after.
Well, that was a very good celebration, but that is not my favorite celebration from the CFL.
Is it the one with Kerwin Bell? Give me the one with Kerwin Bell.
Give it to me.
Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Here we go! Here we go! Kerwin Bell, University of Florida Gator. Izzy's an alum. Oh, there it is, right there.
I've never seen that.
That is proud Florida Gator Kerwin Bell, ladies and gentlemen. He's also an alum.
Appalachian State, they got a powerhouse. They still rank? Do you question if this was the quarterback's fault?
All right, my father gave you a little bonus opinion there. This story you might have noticed is about Appalachian State. They won this weekend, and I guess they're good. Let's see what we've got here. Coastal Carolina is on. Oh.
Listen, in today's day and age of football, if you don't put it directly on their finger pads, it's a bad pass. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one on the quarterback also. I don't care.
I mean, he hit him in the ear hole. That's got to be a catch if the ball almost gets lodged in your helmet.
I think that quarterback is going to get drafted by the Bills.
Oh, look, he barely got the joke out without laughing. You see that? It's like if the joke surprised even him.
Time to play the game that they started a new lifting program, and he's feeling jacked up. See? Oh, no.
You tell us what's on television tonight. We tell you if we're intrigued. He's been working his glutes.
On ESPN, Monday Night Football, Titans and Cowboys.
First Take made me want to watch this game. I don't know how I got lured into the hypnotized thing, but Stephen A. Smith is sitting there with Michael Irvin. I want to see those two go at it. Michael Irvin, a champion trash talker, but he got the sweats here.
And I think tonight right here in Dallas, we see the dawn of a new day, the beginning of a new age, and a time where the Cowboys will rightfully regain and take their proper spot among kings. Do you hear me? Regain and take their proper spot among the kings.
Y'all won 2 playoff games in 25 years, and you gonna sit up here, stick it up your chest, talk about it's the dawn of a new day? Y'all ain't nothing, okay? You ain't been nothing. Last time y'all was something, you had an afro. My hairline was 2 feet forward. Don't get me started. Don't act like they the Lord. You're a champion walking around with rings, but these boys ain't won in 23 years, and you sitting here representing them. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Funny.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
It's
You
funny.
should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself.
It's nice.
He also, in the middle of all those people, said the #1 problem with the Cowboys was Cowboys fans. You can imagine how that went over. Izzy, are you intrigued?
Is Michael Irvin playing?
He is not.
Is Stephen A. playing?
No.
All right. No.
Okay, very good. And it's the Titans, so that's another reason for no. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Wow, Michael Irvin is almost as sweaty as you.
I
Wow.
do sweat a lot.
That's
I am
right. Wow. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
Back tomorrow. Thank you for watching.
Man, I'm sweaty.
Ooh, all right. Get in there, grab some of that moisture. Oh, yeah. I got to just put it right back. All right, very good. Very good. Thanks for helping us out today, Izzy.
Gracias, Izzy. Gracias. We'll see you mañana.